Hello, YouTube. Go ahead.
I'm the QB999 with
the Kingpin of Cinema.
Oh, I got to go first.
Switching things up here. We're doing something different.
Well, we're here to bring you a new game review. Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
His copy, not mine.
The latest game from Capcom. Another game in the popular Versus series, such as Capcom vs. SNK, Capcom vs. Marvel. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was one of the most popular arcade fighting games for a long time, and people have been clamoring for this game to be made for almost 10 years.
Yeah, people have been, like, near rioting in the streets. Probably not so much, but were fanatically pressing buttons on their keyboards, proclaiming that they must have Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
And Capcom, being the people that they are, the smart businessmen they are, listen to their fans.
And to test the market, they re-released it, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation Network, and it sold hugely. Sold a lot. So, they delivered.
Now, does this one live up to its predecessor? Now, that's a hard question to answer. As far as the overall game goes, it's just like the second one. It is fun. It received a very negative, it was received very negatively for a lot of pro players from the second game.
From idiots.
Because, for them, a lot of the aspects of the game made it too easy for other people to jump in and to win.
Oh,
namely the X Factor.
Oh, heaven forbid that new players should come into something new and actually get good at it without having much skill and actually be able to compete against high-level players. Oh, heaven forbid this should ever happen!
But as time has gone on, they have switched over from calling it retarded to retardedly fun. And you know, that's what it's supposed to be. It's not meant to be a serious fighting game. Yeah, you can play it in tournaments, but really it's just meant to be fun. It's not meant to be a serious game such as Super 4.
You know what's funny is that Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was so broken and so, like, silly that it's, like, considered, like, the best fighting game ever. And when Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is like, no, we don't like this one, it's too silly, and it's like, what? Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was one of the most broken games ever. It wasn't balanced at all.
Well, in this game, you know, they brought back some of the more popular characters, like Sentinel, Ryu, Wolverine, some of the poster boys for each side. It also got a lot of new characters, of course. Some were pretty unexpected. I did not expect to see Amaterasu on this lineup.
I didn't expect to see MODOK. But I'm happy he's in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters that we were surprised to see, but very happy. You know, Capcom's or Marvel's trying to put out these popular characters now.
They're trying to showcase some of the more cult favorite characters, like MODOK, Taskmaster, Deadpool. Though I wouldn't really consider Deadpool a cult classic character anymore, because he's so mainstream now. But you know, that's just another reason why to put him in there. Let's get the mainstream guys in there as well.
So the roster, we are very happy with the people that they've put in and how they did that. And they're even adding more characters. They already have Jill and Shuma Gorath pitted for DLC. There's going to be more characters down the line. And with each character, they did a great job with the voice acting.
Yeah, voice acting is good.
Capcom, you know, always does well with their voice acting. Marvel basically gave them a list of people they wanted to play the characters, and they got every person on that list.
Funny story, Marvel wanted Robert Downey Jr.
Well, I'm not sure. We're not sure who originally wanted, but they tried to get Robert Downey for Iron Man. So they called his agent, and his agent basically just laughed and said, "Okay, how many millions are you going to pay us for that?"
I say boo on the agent, but I'm not going to blame Robert Downey because he probably never got the message.
But you know what? So they still got a pretty good voice actor from him. That sounded relatively close.
Yeah, as long as it's relatively close where it sounds like Iron Man, then it's fine.
Not to mention, all the interactions between some of the characters were really well done, too. You got Hagar that interacts with Hulk at the beginning of a match. You got, of course, Chris and Wesker that interact, and you got Taskmaster and Spider-Man and Captain America that all interact. So
so like major rivalries where people that know each other will react to each other.
And they really got the they actually have the characters like be themselves. Like Thor, he actually has this huge megaton that powers him up as he's talking about how he's going to smite evil.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You have Deadpool, who actually breaks the fourth wall in the game.
Yeah. So basically, the portrayal of all of our favorite characters are kept intact and are perfect. I mean, if you like Deadpool for his antics and his breaking of the fourth wall, it's all there. If you like Akuma being a fag and all dark and emo, well, he is.
The gameplay is basically the same as MVC2. You got 3-on-3 teams. You know, you got your main character. You got each person has assists. The only real new aspect is the X Factor, where you hit all attack buttons and you power your character up depending on how many characters you have left.
Yeah, the thing that all these pro players hate.
Yeah, a single character, if your team just got annihilated, you're down to your last character and you use X Factor, you can completely annihilate the other person's team then.
Yeah, you can. It's one of those things that easily turns the whole game around.
So it takes a little bit of strategy to know when to use it, but
so overall, graphics are perfect, sound perfect, voice acting perfect, controls are solid, they're really good.
Very easy and fluid.
Great cast of characters. My only real major complaint against this game is the arcade story mode. There isn't one.
Yeah, you have arcade mode, you have an ending for each character, which the endings are pretty good, because you have tons of crossovers.
The endings are hilarious. I mean, so many of them are so awesome.
But you kind of wish there was more of the story. You know, as far as you know, all it is you have all the enemies of both worlds coming together with Galactus, I guess, trying to destroy the world. And that's kind of all you can assume, really.
Well, you know, because you have the CG cutscenes that Capcom was using to hype the game on the interwebs.
The trailers, yeah.
Yeah, the trailers, and they're in the game. You unlock them, but if you were thinking that these were going to be part of like an overarching story, they're not. There just isn't one.
Yeah, and that's kind of sad.
And, you know, a lot of fighting games. Well, you might be saying, well, why would a fighting game have a story to it? Well, come on. I mean, we want more for our buck.
You like developing characters, and especially in a game like this where you have a crossover series, you'd like to kind of see how some of these characters interact with each other.
I mean, considering like Smash Bros. Brawl had a story in it, a really, really long story, but you know, that's just what I'm saying is like more bang for your dollar. You know, because we want to have a story. You want to have like as many gameplay options as we can possibly have with our experience.
Now that's the overall game, but of course, what is a fighting game nowadays without an online mode? Now Capcom was pushing this online mode to being very good. They said they were very proud of the netcode, how it's going to work fluidly, how they developed a way of, like, containing the rage quitters by putting them in hell, basically.
Rage quitter hell.
Yeah, where rage quitters get put up against other rage quitters. They said this online mode is going to be the best. And
is it?
It was disappointing, to say the most.
It's pretty hard to find a match.
It is.
On the 360 and Xbox.
Or 360 and PS3, you mean?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, the best way to find a match is just to do arcade mode or training and set yourself to search for a mode. But if you're just going to go into online mode and try and find a ranked match, 8 out of 10 times you're going to get a disconnect issue. And it's going to be infuriating.
And there's also a lot of glitches, too, going on right now.
There's glitches in the game that they're eventually going to patch, I assume.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them are very game-breaking.
Yeah.
But the online mode, though, also is just riddled with bugs and glitches, and also just massive, massive lag issues. I rarely ever get a game that I would call fluid, and not... I can see the slowdown right from the beginning, and it is very irritating, especially in a fast-paced game like this.
And you're doing this at your school where the internet connection is really good.
It's really good, yeah.
So I mean, don't be posting like, oh, it's just your connection sucks. No, it's not. The connection is top notch.
It's one of the top notch connections.
It's just getting a match is just really hard where it's really slow.
It's also difficult because if you're playing arcade mode and you're looking for a match at the same time, this is the first time I've had this happen where looking for a match will actually lag the actual arcade mode.
Wow.
Which that should not be happening. It should not require that much focus to find a match.
So, right now, that's kind of a problem, but like you said, they are going to be patching it.
Hopefully.
So hopefully that will get
But there's
fixed.
just so many problems, and also if you're looking for a match in arcade mode, and it disconnects from the server and it can't connect, you have to back all the way out to the main menu again and start completely over so you can start looking for matches again. Another big issue they had is with Super 4, you would have endless mode, which is kind of like an arcade lobby, where winner plays against everyone else in line. And everyone would get to watch the match going on, cheer for who they wanted, and see what's happening. They kind of have that in this, except it's just called a lobby, and you can't watch the matches that are going on.
Oh.
So if you're in an 8-person lobby and you're the last person in line, you're just going to be looking at a single screen for about 15-20 minutes, waiting for your turn in line.
Pretty unacceptable, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, they have all this great content and everything in Super 4. I find it hard to understand why they couldn't put it in this game too. I would like to watch some of those matches going on. I know it makes passing the time easier. As well as people who like to stream these fighting games online and let people watch. You can't stream MVC3 without having the streamer himself play it.
And plus, it would be a great way to watch other people play and learn moves and get an idea of how to play your character better.
So
learn strategy.
So overall, the overall game, fun, really well done, but the online, goddamn, does it need a lot of work. That's one aspect where Capcom really, I have to say, failed, just absolutely failed to meet our expectations with that.
Well, I think before we end this video, is there any characters you would want to see added to the game?
That's tough. Well, I know I've seen the polls, and at the top of the polls, everyone is saying Venom.
Boo!
Yeah,
Venom sucks!
I don't really care to see him. There's characters like Ruby, Heart, and Strider I'd like to see come back. Captain Commando, I would love to see Jin. He was one of my favorite characters in MVC2.
Jin would be cool. I'm kind of like, let's get more unique characters in there, like, how awesome would it be to have, like, Dr. Wily, or Mega Man X to be in it, or Ultron 5. Doc Ock supposedly is rumored to be in it.
Any one of the cameos could be in it, too, like Kingpin, Iron Fist, Fin Fang Foom. He could be the opposite of Sentinel, another giant character.
Hopefully. The big demon guy from Ghosts and Goblins.
Oh, yeah, I forgot his name.
That would be awesome.
So, yeah, there's a lot of room for potential in this with the characters that they can add, and we're going to be looking forward to that.
So, I'd say, I think it's worth a purchase. It's worth your money. It's
a fun game. It's easy to jump into, even from people who aren't really serious about it.
I'm not serious about fighting games, and it was easy for me to jump into. So, I've been having a lot of fun with it.
So, anyway, we really like it. Stay offline if you can.
Alright, and I think that's all we have to say, and could be said, and thanks for watching.
And if you didn't like it,
okay.